What's up guys, my name's Tom and welcome back to the FPL Centre. Now before we go any further, I do have to say the transfers I've made this week may seem a little strange at first glance. I have taken a -8 point hit and I still don't own any Liverpool attackers, but this is part of a wider plan in which I'm really going to shake up the team over the coming weeks. Initially I only wanted to do a -4 point hit, but the news that James Maddison will miss Gameweek 12 means I've taken a -8 to make sure that I can stick to my strategy and have a free transfer over the international break just in case anything needs to be dealt with before Gameweek 13. I may do a separate video covering what my transfer strategy is over the international break, but for today just know that I haven't gone completely crazy and there is some method to the madness. With that out of the way, it is time for the Gameweek 12 preview. As always, we'll run through a breakdown of the key upcoming fixtures from an FPL perspective and a look at who could be in line to benefit from some glaring opposition weaknesses. We'll also take a quick look at my team selection as it stands heading into the weekend, and I'll obviously highlight those transfers that I've made. If you like the content I'm doing here on both FPL and the Fantasy Champions League game, make sure to give the video a thumbs up and get yourself subscribed. Hit that notification bell as well so you know when the latest video drops. But yeah, let's get straight into it. First up, we'll take a look at the evening kickoff on Saturday, where Crystal Palace host Spurs, who are coming off the back of a hard-fought midweek win against PSV in the Champions League. The last 4 meetings in the Premier League between these two sides have all finished 1-0 to Spurs, and with Palace only finding the net at home twice so far this season, with both of those goals coming against Arsenal a couple of weeks ago, it may be a similar story here again. Palace rank 5th worst in the league for creating big chances, with just 15 so far this season, and they've generated the 4th lowest number of shots in the box with 73. Roy Hodgson's men tend to create a chance every 8.5 minutes, which is the 6th lowest rate of chance creation in the league this season, and in fact over the last 4 game weeks this has got even worse, dropping to a chance every 9.2 minutes, which is the 3rd lowest rate of chance creation over that period. Only Brighton and Burnley are creating less chances per minute. Perhaps surprisingly, the team with the 4th lowest rate of chance creation in the league over the past 4 weeks is actually Spurs, as they've only created a chance every 8.9 minutes, the exact same rate of chance creation as Cardiff over that period. Spurs also rank in the bottom half of the league for generating shots in the box over those last 4 game weeks, and have taken the 4th fewest attempts on goal with 43, behind the likes of Newcastle, Huddersfield and Fulham. Despite these last 4 weeks though, Spurs still rank in the top 4 teams for creating big chances and generating shots from inside the area over the season. Defensively, Spurs have conceded the 5th fewest big chances to opposition teams over the season so far, with 17 created against them, 8 of which have come in the last 4 game weeks. Pochettino's men have given up quite a lot of shots from inside the area this season though, with 87 being taken against them, which is 5 more than Palace have allowed to be taken against them this season. As we know by now, Spurs tend to use the right wing to create overloads, with Trippier overlapping as they deliver over 60% of their crosses and create nearly 40% of their chances from the right flank. Palace, however, give up a far higher number of crosses from the left wing, although the chances created against them are pretty evenly spread across all areas of the pitch. For that reason, it's tough to pick out any particular player here for attacking returns, as the stats suggest that both sides have really cooled off lately when it comes to creating chances, but the sheer volume of crosses conceded by Palace from the left means it might be a week to give Ben Davies or Danny Rose a bit of an edge depending on who starts at left back for Spurs. Next up is the Sunday lunchtime game between Liverpool and Fulham at Anfield, where a huge number of FPL managers will undoubtedly be hoping for captain points from either Mohamed Salah or Sadio Mane, and the big news here is that Fulham are no longer statistically the worst defensive team in the league. But don't worry, Fulham are still very clearly the 2nd worst defensive team in the league, as they've given up 31 big chances through the season so far, averaging nearly 3 per game there, and they're also giving up over 10 shots in the box per game with 118 conceded through the first 11 game weeks. Now of course this will all be music to the ears of FPL managers invested in Liverpool attackers, as Jurgen Klopp's side are creating a chance every 6.6 minutes for the season so far, which is the 4th fastest rate of chance creation in the league, and as a result they've generated the 3rd highest number of shots in the box this season with 105, almost averaging 10 per game. So we can expect Liverpool to be creating chances at will, peppering Fulham with shots from inside the box, and of course all this means a very high chance of multiple goals flying in. However, one slight concern is that Liverpool have only created 6 big chances over the past 4 weeks, which is level with Crystal Palace and actually fewer than the 7 Cardiff have created over that period. They are also in the bottom half of the league for generating shots in the box over the past 4 weeks, a period which saw them play Huddersfield and Cardiff, so there is a definite drop-off in form for Liverpool, it seems, from an attacking perspective at least, which we saw again as they failed to score in the Champions League this week away at Red Star Belgrade. Fulham are the perfect side for Liverpool to get back to what they know though. The Cottagers give up a lot of crosses from both wings, so while there is no tendency to highlight there, they give up so many crosses from both wings that attacking returns could be on the cards for both Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold, assuming both players start. The majority of chances Fulham concede tend to come from central areas or the right wing, giving a slight edge it seems to Mohamed Salah over Sadio Mane, meaning it could be the week for the Egyptian king to put himself firmly back on the FPL radar. Next up, Chelsea host Everton at Stamford Bridge on Sunday in a game where two of the best attacking sides in recent weeks come head to head. For the past 4 game weeks, Chelsea ranked first for both creating big chances and generating shots in the box, ahead of Man City over that period. Meanwhile, Everton ranked 4th for generating shots in the box and 6th for creating big chances. Both sides are creating chances more frequently than any other teams in the league as well, with Chelsea and Everton having the first and second fastest rates of chance creation over the past 4 weeks. So a clean sheet for either side doesn't seem overly likely on this evidence, but it should be a very entertaining game to watch. For the season as a whole, Chelsea rank 2nd as an attacking unit behind Man City when it comes to the key stats, while Everton rank in the top half of the table. Defensively, both sides do a good job of preventing shots in the box being taken against them, but Everton are slightly more susceptible to giving up big chances, having conceded 23 compared to Chelsea's 18. Both sides are also among the better teams in the league for preventing headed attempts on goal and attempts from set pieces. It's worth noting that over the last 4 weeks, no team has conceded fewer shots in the box than Everton, despite the fact they've given up the 5th most big chances and only kept the 1 clean sheet during that period. Both sides tend to allow the most crosses against them to be delivered from the left wings, and with both sides also fielding relatively attacking fullbacks on that flank, it could be a day where we see both Marcos Alonso and Lucas Digne create a number of decent chances and potentially record attacking returns. The chances Everton give up are spread relatively evenly across all areas of the pitch, with a slight tendency towards both flanks, meaning Hazard and Willian could benefit, but it would be of no surprise at all if the likes of Morata is able to capitalise instead. And finally, it's the Manchester derby at the Etihad on Sunday evening as Manchester City host Manchester United after both sides emerged victorious from their respective Champions League fixtures in midweek. Both sides also come into this one with 3 wins and a draw from their last 4 games in the Premier League, although a couple of the wins for Manchester City have been decidedly more comfortable than those recorded by United. Pep Guardiola's men have created the most big chances and generated the highest number of shots in the box in the league this season, and on average they're creating a chance every 4.5 minutes, which is not only the fastest chance creation rate in the league for this season, but it also beats their own chance creation rate from last season, which was a chance every 5.4 minutes. United meanwhile have improved of late and now rank 5th for big chances created with 28, that's 2 ahead of Liverpool, and they've also generated the 6th most shots in the box with 93, just 2 behind Bournemouth who rank 5th. Mourinho's side also have the joint 5th best chance creation rate, as on average they create a chance every 7 minutes, level with Everton. Over the past 4 game weeks, United actually rank 2nd for creating big chances, behind only Chelsea and ahead of Man City who are in 3rd place. Defensively, City are much more sound than United though, having conceded the fewest big chances and given up the fewest shots in the box through the first 11 weeks, all backed up by the fact that they've kept 7 clean sheets. United on the other hand have only managed to keep the 1 clean sheet away against Burnley in game week 4, and part of the reason for this may well be that they're giving up the 6th most big chances to opposing sides so far this season with 24, that's the same number as the Southampton side who just lost by 5 goals at the Etihad. United do a much better job than the Saints of preventing shots in the box though, but even so, they're still level with the likes of Crystal Palace on 82, a number almost double the 45 shots in the box that Manchester City have conceded this season. When Mourinho's men do concede chances, they have an overwhelming tendency to give them up on the left wing, with over 42% of all chances conceded by United coming from that side. Now this could be fantastic news for Raheem Sterling owners if he lines up on that left flank with Mahrez on the right. It also plays directly into City's hands as they have a tendency to create the majority of their chances from central areas and on the left wing, where they should be able to exploit that apparent weakness in United's defence. So this is the team selection as it stands. I'm around 48k in rank right now after a big week in game week 11, and so for game week 12 I'm just hoping to solidify my spot within the top 100k. Fabianski will keep his place in goal for West Ham's trip to Huddersfield, with Patricio facing a much tougher task away at Arsenal. In defence we'll run with Alonso, Mendy and Trent Alexander-Arnold, with Doherty ready to sub in from the bench in case anybody gets dropped, and Wan-Bissaka remains firmly set as our third bench option as his tougher fixture run continues. The midfield sees the first two transfers of my -8 point hit, with David Brooks and Anthony Martial coming in for Richarlison and the injured James Maddison. Brooks and Martial will both start alongside Sterling and Hazard, who keep their places, and Højbjerg is set as our first choice substitute for the game week. And up front, the third transfer has been made, with Marko Arnautovic coming in for Aleksandar Mitrovic. He of course starts with Sergio Aguero and Callum Wilson. Eden Hazard will currently take the armband, as he's the only real standout captaincy choice we have in a relatively kind home fixture there. There is some temptation to captain Arnautovic, but I think for this week it will almost certainly be Hazard unless something happens or some news breaks late suggesting that he might miss out or start from the bench. But as always, keep an eye on my Twitter for any updates to the team before the deadline. So there we go guys, over the international break I do have content planned and ready to go, including the second part of the How to Reach the #1 overall rank series. A lot of you really seem to enjoy the first video on that, so I'm definitely looking forward to recording the second episode. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to keep up with what I'm doing here at the FPL Centre, and also make sure to hit that notification bell when you subscribe so you know when the latest video drops. Let me know in the comments if you've made any big changes to your team heading into the weekend. But that's all from me today guys, good luck in game week 12 and thanks for watching.